And eventually, we will see a live sign. What's going on, everybody? I know it's very, very late for a lot of people. I'm glad that some of you have decided to join us, at this at this ungodly hour. I'm Stuart. I'm joined by Lydia and Matthew, who are both in the UK. Lydia is, of course, from Russia as well. And Matthew, I think you said that you're part
Lydia is
Maltese as
actually in
well.
the UK too, but it's fine.
No, sorry. That's what I meant to say. I don't know if I actually said that. And Matthew, you're also from Malta.
No, I'm from the UK, but my mum was born in Malta, so I'm sort of the first descendant born abroad. Though my mum only left there when she was a year old because my grandparents are British. But yeah, I've got a Maltese passport.
Exactly. That's what's important. Let's
That's
say
key.
hello to those of you who have stuck with us. So we've got Joanne Johnson. Thank you very much for staying awake for us. Klavs, it's 2:33 here in Latvia, and you're still here. I actually thought it would be later. Although now that I think of it, yeah, because they're 1 hour ahead of Central European time. So where you guys are, it's 12:30. Lydia and Matt, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Not very late here. It's only 7:30. Hello to Elliot Harris. Nice to see you again. Hello to Matt. Hello to Luciano Marinelli. So it's great. I thought that we'd have everybody would be in bed by now, but I'm glad to see that we do have some people here. But let's talk Sanremo because we've seen our first 13 songs that are competing in the main competition, and then, of course, we also saw 4 of the participants in the newcomers. The newcomers area. So let's start with you, Lydia. Which performances were you most impressed by?
I had a couple of performances that I really liked. I would say my favorites were from Arisa, from Madame, from Maneskin, from Annalisa, and from Phasma. Those were my favorite ones. My winner of the night is Maneskin. I'm really happy with the song. We can talk about this a bit later.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about it.
And how about you, Matthew?
Yeah, so very similar to Lydia, actually. I think Maneskin, Annalisa, Phasma. I was also really impressed by Francesca and Fidesz, but I know that there was probably a mixed bag to them. And I have to say, I think Max Gaze, I know he was probably a bit controversial with that staging, but I've got to be honest, that was definitely a highlight of the night.
It absolutely was for me as well. And to clarify, because sometimes it's hard to go off of just the names, but I describe Max Gaze as Gandalf performing to a Kraftwerk song with cardboard cutouts behind him. I have no idea what the context of the song is, but I was vibing to it totally. Let's say hello to a few more people. Francesca is proud of Klavs for staying up as well. We've got Federico 97 from Italy as well. Jenny Piers in Ukraine, so also staying up quite late. Gex is saying, I expected more from the favorites Francesca and Fedesz, Colapeschi, Di Martino, but it's okay. My favorite, Annalisa, snapped. Yes, Annalisa, who topped the demoscopic jury, as we saw just now with the results coming in. One of my favorites, and I have to say, beautiful melody and a very strong performance. So maybe first let's say hello to Francesco M, who has just slided in right now. And let's start there in terms of what we thought about Annalisa. You start, Matthew.
Yeah, so I mean, Annalisa's quite a big name already within Italy, so there was a lot of expectation. She was probably one of the more of the favourites coming in just based off name. Great voice, beautiful performance, and I think it was very Sanremo as well. It's what you kind of expect. It was very classy. I think it's definitely a challenger for this week. I think she's potentially top 5 already, maybe challenging for the top 3, depending on tomorrow. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how Annalisa goes throughout the rest of the nights, actually.
Mm-hmm. I mean, certainly left an impression already, so I think that's a good sign as it is. And as you mentioned, we do still have to see the other half of the performances, which we'll be seeing tomorrow night. So there could be 13 even better performances, but definitely one that I certainly enjoyed. Lydia, what did you think of Annalisa?
Honestly, all of the songs that I know from her are very high quality, so I was expecting something very great, and I received that. Her vocals were on point, so I absolutely get why she came on top. And honestly, this song is one of the reasons why I like Sanremo so much, because it's so so true to Italian scene, to her, to Italian music and stuff.
Mhm.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of music. We didn't even really get a recap, which is not usually what we would expect from Sanremo. But thinking back, I remember one of the things that I really liked about that. Like again, fantastic performance, but it had that classic Italian composition behind it, but it also had a little bit of like a modern percussion too. Really, really fantastic. Federico is sharing his favorites with us. Annalisa, Michelle, and Michelin is probably the better way to say that, more Italian. Fedez, Meneskin, Phasma, and Madame, my faves, perhaps Noemi. I should check again that song. So, maybe you guys can let us in on this, because I do believe that the songs will be on YouTube, but not permanently. I think they show up this week on YouTube, and then after the festival, they disappear.
Yeah, that's correct. So they'll be on the Rai official channel this week, and all of our Vox articles will also have links to the video, so make sure you check that out. And but yeah, that's correct. They will disappear. There might be maybe the odd Sanremo performance here or there, maybe with the winner, but for instance, Mahmoud Soldi winning performance, that isn't even on YouTube anymore. Couldn't find one myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very yeah. You have to get them before they go down. For Francesco, his favorites were Meneskin, Copalesce, Di Martino, Madame, and Annalisa. Luciano, for him, it was Meneskin. Francesca said that Annalisa's song didn't impress her that much, but I think it's a grower. I mean, after all, it's a pleasant pop song. I mean, yeah, I think in terms of like, when we're thinking about broad appeal, it's got quite a bit going there. But it's a very competitive composition, that's for sure. And we've got Stephen Kendall reminding us of our winner from last year, Diodato, who not only got to perform Fai Rumore again for us, but also performed some new music as well. Lydia, how did you feel about his performances?
I was so glad to see him again. I absolutely loved Fai Rumore last year. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Fai Rumore is one of the best things to ever happen in 2020. I couldn't contain myself. I cried to the song again, as I always do, because it's just it fills me with so much emotion about just what we went through last year. It's like an anthem for 2020 for me. Also, his other songs, incredible. He has so much charisma, amazing voice. I really hope we get to see him in Eurovision someday, because he's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like a joy to watch. He keeps you drawn in with, like, not only with his powerful voice, but just the way that he moves. How he kind of like spins around when there's an instrumental break, and his facial expressions. And Matthew, I'm pretty sure that you're a big Diodato fan as well.
Oh, I have to be honest, that performance from Verona Arena just chokes me up every time. I think it was so iconic, and Italy was coming out. They were the first country outside of China that had suffered so much devastation due to coronavirus, and I think that performance just really encapsulated everything that they went through. I say there's some performances that are bigger than Eurovision. They're so special, and I think for me, that performance in Verona Arena, as it gets Lydia every time, it makes me cry as well. I absolutely love Diodato. You got two Diodato super fans right next to you, Stuart.
Not a problem at all. And I mean, I think I better get on listening to some more of his music, because I've intended to, but I haven't done so yet. And people have told me to get on it. So I should, after Sanremo, once there's much less national selection music to listen to, then I think I'll begin my Diodato exploration. But great points for all of you, and I really like what you said as well about how there are certain songs that are bigger than Eurovision. And I think that obviously last year it was a shame that we didn't get the competition that we look forward to from Eurovision. But on the other hand, it was also really lovely too, because without needing to declare a winner, we saw songs that had a great life for just being the songs themselves. For Fai Rumore, for Think About Things, for Uno, for for so many songs that we had last year. So in some ways, it was kind of nice to not have a winner and not make it all about them. Francesca is saying Diodato's so talented, nothing bad I can say about him, and that she's grateful for his performance tonight. Let's talk about some other competitors tonight, and I think one that we should definitely mention is Francesca and Fedez, because Francesca is obviously a recognizable artist for having represented Italy in 2016. So obviously lots of hype for her song, and in the credits for the song, we also see Mahmood, the artist behind my absolute favorite Eurovision song. So Lydia, tell me, what did you think about their performance?
First of all, just like Stu, I loved Mahmood's song in 2019. It was my winner. It's one of my favorite songs of all time in Eurovision too, and you can hear his influence in the song and the instrumentals. The song itself didn't impress me that much, although Francesca does have an amazing voice, and the way that the chemistry that she has with Fedez is there, but something wasn't enough for me, I guess. I absolutely adore how emotional Fedez got after performing. It was just adorable.
Mm-hmm. It seems, like even now we have Francesca saying that she was expecting a little bit more from them, and we've had other people mention earlier as well. So I mean, it does seem like perhaps the performance isn't all the way there yet, but from my experience, I do remember that there were a lot of performances on the first two nights that really improved substantially on the later nights. So, Matthew, tell me about what you thought of this song.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it actually. I thought it was really good. I really liked Fedez's rap part within it as well. I think it was always gonna be really tough for them because there was a lot of expectation. They were actually the last act that was announced when the finalists got revealed back in December. I mean, Twitter just blew up when they got announced. And I think amongst the Euro fandom, there's always going to be a lot of expectation because of Francesca, but also with Mahmood's involvement within the song. I like it, and I think, to be fair, they can beat and turn. I mean, it's Fedez's debut at Sanremo. If I'm wrong, please correct me there. I think they can hold their heads up high, regardless of how they do. It's a really good performance and another strong collaboration from the two of them.
Yeah, and to kind of go off of that point, because we always kind of go in with that mindset of like who's going to be winning this thing, and who are we going to be seeing later in Eurovision. But it's important to remember, like, every national selection serves a greater purpose than just and a lot of people from Italy will always remind us that this isn't truly a national selection, and this is the OG Eurovision, because it's older than it. Eurovision wouldn't exist without it, because it was inspired by from Sanremo. But yeah, and in addition to all of that, the baseline for quality is like way up when you compare to what other countries do. So yeah, I mean, like with this one, I think that we should definitely see what will happen in the later performances. As I understand, each of the competing songs will be performed 3 times. Is that correct, for each of the different voting systems?
Yeah, that's correct. So they'll be performed either tonight or tomorrow, and then they'll be performed again all on Friday, all of them, and then the grand finales on Saturday. So yeah, 3 times.
Okay, let's say hello to Paolo, who's just joining us right now. Stephen Kendall saying there are no strong duets at ESC so far. Yeah, do we even have any duets?
Like this year or
yeah,
overall?
This year, I don't think so. Not yet. Well, I mean, there's some that could be selected. Like, for example, Denmark has the Cosmic Twins. They're seen as one of the favorites to win that show. In Festival de Canção, I'm sure that they're either groups or they're soloists. And then in Sweden we can get Eva and Eva, I suppose.
That's true.
But nonetheless, let's keep it on Sanremo. So Lydia, you mentioned that one of your favorites was Maneskin. So tell me, what did you like about that one?
Can I just say everything?
Yeah.
Like it literally has everything that I like in a song. Like that's just what I listen to on my daily basis without the involvement of Eurovision. This is just what I like. The second I heard like the first note of the song, I was like, definitely my winner of Sanremo this year. That I don't even need to hear the other songs because this is exactly what I like. It was incredible. The whole package, the voice, the instrumentals, their stage presence, even their outfits, everything was incredible. If they end up winning, which is unlikely, I think, they will definitely knock out Finland from my first place, even though I love the Finnish song at the moment. Italy will definitely be my first if they pick them. And honestly, can't wait to put this on my Spotify so I can just stream it over and over again. It's an incredible song.
Lewis is saying Maneskin blew the competition out of the water tonight. Incredible performance. And yeah, you touched upon the fact that like if we're thinking about how things typically go for Sanremo, it is very unlikely that this would necessarily be winning the competition. But yeah, I have to say that if it did, and if it was like in addition to what we already see from other countries at Eurovision, I just feel like Blind Channel is going to be pushed right out of the way for this because this is a quality rock song and a rock performance. Like no disrespect to the Blind Channel fans, it's just for me it's a little bit too Linkin Park. So I'm not really digging it myself. But Matthew, tell me what you think about Maneskin.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that, to be fair. I wasn't that aware of Maneskin. I knew that they were on the Italian X Factor, and I think they were runners-up a couple of years ago. And again, debut in Sanremo. Completely different to Sanremo, but this is what's been so fantastic about Sanremo in the past couple of years, the diversity that is really starting to come through. I liked it. I mean, it's not so much, I mean, unlike Lydia, it's not something that I listen to myself, but I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm surprised that they were a bit lower down, but then I think as the week goes on, it will probably be someone like the public vote that will really push them up. So it'll be really interesting to see how they fare. You seem to find within Sanremo, some people might do really well one night or not so well the other night. So it's going to be really interesting this year how they fare, especially.
A few questions here. So Jessica is asking, do you think any of tonight's performance could win and go to Eurovision? Hard to say, obviously, as we kind of touched on before. I would put my money on Annalisa so far, and that's like not just saying because she topped the demoscopic jury today, but also because like personally that was the song that had the biggest impact on me. So I could see that happening. But how about you, Matthew? Who would you see if you had to choose one from tonight?
Oh god, that's hard. Oh my days, you put me on the spot there. I feel like, I don't know why, but I think Phasma really caught my eye, actually. I thought that was a really strong performance, strong ending. Third on the dioscopic jury, rap entry. I think he'll do really well with the public. So I think Phasma's probably a dark horse, but it's hard to tell tonight. I mean, with another 13 tomorrow.
Yeah, we could be saying something else completely different tomorrow.
Yeah.
How about you, Lydia?
It's really hard to predict because it is really hard from the first night. But I do agree about Annalisa that she's probably at the top of the moment of being the most likely to win. Phasma has a chance, I think, but I think it's one of those performances that will go down instead of going up. And I think maybe Arisa has a good chance as well. Her song was pretty up there, I think, and the performance itself was nice.
It came sixth in the jury, Arisa.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so, again, like everything could change tomorrow night, but obviously we've seen some strong performances and then maybe some that, could use some improvement next time around. Some great context for us here from both Matt and ESC Italia. So I'll put this up here. Mahmoud was almost last for the demoscopic jury and then he won. Madame had a lot of success here in Italy as well as Maneskin. Surely they with Annalisa and Francesca will reach the top. Yeah, I mean, so obviously it's early days for us, and you really never know how the rest of the different parts of the jury system are going to vote. But nonetheless, I think that we've got some really solid songs on our hands. And Chris is mentioning something that also jumped out at me as well. I'm missing the comment, but basically he was talking about the use of autotune, which is like, it's quite surprising to see that in competing entries. And like, firstly, we have to address the fact that like autotune, obviously it has this big criticism for making singing and performing easy, but it is also like used as a creative choice. So it's not necessarily to hide someone's lack of singing ability, but obviously because it has that ability to do so, it gets a lot of criticism. So Lydia, what did you think about, because I think we saw at least 3 songs that had that autotune sound on. How did you feel about it?
Well, I think it's in this situation, it's more about altering the song than about improving the vocals. But it was very distracting for me, especially in Phasma's performance. I actually really like the song, but I think if it didn't have that much autotune, or if it wasn't as noticeable, I would like it even more. It would be much higher in my top. The other songs weren't that noticeable, but you could still see, especially with Fedes as well. And I think Madame had autotune as well, didn't she?
I think so too. Yes, she did. But yeah, you know, again, as we mentioned, like it's a stylistic choice, not necessarily because somebody can't sing. So that's why, like you know, obviously, I can see it being a very controversial choice, but you know, for me, it was also a little bit distracting. Matthew, how did you feel about that?
I think it's really interesting because Eurovision this year, of course, you're allowed pre-recorded backing vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was quite interesting because I know that's been quite controversial. And again, auto-tune within Sanremo this year has been controversial. And I definitely get Lydia's point with Phasma's performance. You know, it was very noticeable. I mean, it sounds really bad. I just kind of enjoyed the performances for what they were. And so I didn't probably take as much note of it this evening, but maybe going forward I will. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the next couple of days, I reckon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's a surprise to see something like that. But also, you know, thinking about modern music, like it's something that's so widespread that, you know, I'm not surprised that we've seen it in, I guess maybe my biggest surprise is the fact that Sanremo is really doing this first before anyone else that I can think. And I mean, I think it's one thing as well if you're using it as like for certain parts of the song, but then if you're singing with it the whole time, then obviously it becomes that much more distracting. And yeah, so I mean, quite an interesting choice there. We'll have to see if we see more of that tomorrow. But like obviously there is a lot more that we could talk about, but you know, it's getting late for you guys, and there are another 4 days of Sanremo to come. So guys, we will be talking about the performances tomorrow night as well, because obviously by then we will have heard all 26 songs. It's 26 songs that are competing in total?
Yeah, 26.
Okay, so yeah, we will have heard all of them by then, and then we can talk a little bit more about which ones are leaving the biggest impact on us. You know, obviously we'll be seeing more performances, so maybe some that don't appear to be that good right now will appear much better on a later night. But we'd love to know what you guys think. If you are watching this after the fact that we've done the live broadcast, please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to Eurovoxx because we're covering all of the national selections, including Sanremo. There's going to be a bunch this Saturday as well. A lot of countries are deciding. So we'd love to know what you guys think on those songs and who you would like to see represent your country or other countries at Eurovision in Rotterdam. We will leave it there for now. Thank you so much for joining us at this ungodly hour. And we will see you on the next video. Take care, guys.
Hey, guys.